We've been enjoying hearing about your bucket lists on GM Chat today, but right now Tom O'Neill is here to give his professional advice on writing a bucket list, and then once you've done your bucket list, how to really narrow down your goals and achieve them. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Great to be back.
So everyone knows this expression bucket list now from the movie with Jack Nicholson.
That's
and
right,
who was the other guy in it?
Morgan Freeman. That's it.
Great film. So why do you think it's important to start by thinking about a bucket list before you get down to your everyday goals?
Yeah, that's a great question, because most people, when they starting to write goals, they just write down sort of the things they want to achieve and so on.
Buy a house.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff, and pay a loan back, etc., which is all really good things. But what I really encourage people to do is really think big first, you know. Think, what are the cool things when I'm, you know, and near the end of my life, I look back, I can say I did, you know, what are the things I achieved, what are the things I managed to attain, you know, what did I learn, you know, and actually point to specific instances, i.e. your bucket list, to really give you real major excitement before you then start to sit down and write your actual goals.
So let's look at an example, and because these are big things, like travel on the Orient Express. Oh, I'd love to. I think it costs about $20,000. Cruise around Alaska, climb Mount Kilimanjaro. We all thought this was yours, and I was going to ask how your training was going for the Auckland Half Marathon. So you look at something like this, and then you've got pictures of them. Why is it important to do a collage?
Because psychologically, writing it down is one thing. I mean, that's great.
Yes.
But when you have, for example, pictures like this, it just really helps embed in your brain the emotion behind it. There's a part of your brain called the amygdala, and what that does is that fuses emotion with memory. And so when you have a picture, for example, that helps to fuse those two things together. So then you just can't help but get excited. You can't, every time you think about it, you think of this picture, and that just gets you that little bit more excited moving forward.
So would you put, say, that collage on your fridge to remind you every day?
Fridge, your screensaver, your desktop, you know. I mean, for example, on my one, I've got a car I'm after. On my
what
my
car
desktop,
are you after? Go and tell us.
BMW Z4. Just love it. Nice little one, you know, just very cool.
Very cool.
And so I've just got that sort of sitting there, and every time, you know, you move something or da-da-da, there it is. You're like,
there's the car.
Cool, there's the one.
How's the Subaru going? Just kidding. I don't know, that's what I've got. So let's move on then from the bucket list to something that you present a lot, and this is your passion, which is how to formulate a goal and achieve it. And there was some really interesting research done about goals that are actually achievable and achieved. So tell me about that in the States.
Yeah, sure. There was a lady called Dr. Gail Matthews, and she did a study whereby she looked at a group of about 200 people and broke them into 6 groups. Group 1 just thought about goals, you know, what do I want to achieve? And Group 4, for example, thought about goals, wrote them down, and Group 6 thought about goals, wrote them down, then sent emails and contacted a friend once a week to give them an update on their progress. She found that those people
You'd have to be a friend who wanted to hear about your goals.
Absolutely. You just don't want to bore someone to death, obviously, you know, is that. But you want to... and she found that 33 people who did that and actually had a partner, effectively, an accountability partner.
It's like when you lose weight, if you do it with someone, or you go for a walk with someone, same thing.
Absolutely. And she found 33%, they achieved their goals 33%, a whole third more than the other people who actually thought about their goals. Now, the other thing is, most people don't think about their goals. So the people that are in Group 1 of thinking about their goals are actually ahead of pretty much the vast amount of the population.
Sort of go blindly through life and not thinking about where we're going.
Exactly. So
how do you get to that Group 6? What are some steps that you need to take? You've got this thing about SMART goals,
That's right, yep. SMART goals, you can see on the screen, specific. A goal should be very specific.
Yes.
It should be measurable, should be able to be achieved, obviously, should be relevant to your life now, and you want to make it timed.
Like as in by such and such. So let's give an example, because I think that's a really good way to do it.
So, for example, I want to get fit. You know, how many times have you heard people say that? Or I want to lose weight, you know. Great, you know, but until you make it smart, effectively, and commit it, I believe, to paper or your PC, it's a dream. You know, I want to lose weight. Okay, how much do you want to lose? When do you want to lose it by? So you can say over 12 months I want to lose, you know, let's say 10 kgs, and you can actually then track how you're actually proceeding through the year. Another way is you want to save, let's say, $12,000 for a car, or save $12,000 to get out of debt.
You're not going to get debt for $12,000.
No, you won't be, no, sadly. But you can say at the end of 6 months, you know, I've saved $6,000. If you've only saved $4,000,
you know,
okay, well, I really need to pull finger. And if you've saved $8,000, well, hey, maybe I can start saving towards the Z4 as such. So, you know, you can put a bit more aside. So having goals that are specific really make the journey a lot more achievable. Another thing I'd really encourage audience members to look at is think about little goals. Nothing succeeds like success.
Well, that's right. So when you're looking at, you know, are there sort of certain areas you should be considering in your life when you're looking at goals? Because I know as part of your big presentation, which I've read, there are things like family, career, although how do you sort of put them all in, how do you put them all in perspective? Yeah,
for example, what my wife and I do, we do our goals once a year. And we go away and we sit down, go through them all, have a little sip of champagne, for the ones we get, and a sip of champagne for the ones we don't. So, yeah, and then, that's right, and then the next morning we sit down and put together all our goals for the next year. And it's just so powerful because you sit down and you just get very specific about what you want to achieve. And what we do is we look at 7 key areas in our lives, and what I suggest your audience does is look at, okay, what are the 6 areas of my life or 7 areas of my life? Could be finances, fun, health, financial security, faith, whatever. And then have a look at those key areas and then do short, medium and long-term goals for each one of those. And suddenly you put together this amazing life plan. It sounds like a lot of work, but you can knock that off in, you know, 2 or 3 hours of just sitting around with a couple of coffees or half a bottle of champagne.
And look, I think it's great, and I think it's always good for us to think about, I mean, we all, you know, everyone knows you should set goals, but if you actually write them down, I think that's such a big step in the right direction. And go and see The Bucket List, it's a great film.
Yeah,
all right,
absolutely.
Thank you very much, Tom, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And Tom is back next Thursday with more expert career and goal setting advice. And if you need more time to figure out your goals, we've got just the thing.